to this badge. So you will be able to go ahead and purchase that afterwards as well. But first, we're going to start off with the Girl Scout Promise and Law. So I'm going to seal Kelly's screen real quickly just so we can do that. There we go, share. Slideshow, come on. From current slide. Okay, so you can stand or sit, whatever you want. And we're going to say the Girl Scout Promise and Law. Oh, goodness, go back. I'm so sorry. Friends, technology, you know, when you want it to work, it will work. Okay, so let's start off with the Girl Scout Promise. On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law. Now for the Girl Scout law. I will do my best to be honest and fair, friendly and helpful, considerate and caring, courageous and strong, and responsible for what I say and do, and to respect myself and others, respect authority, use resources wisely, make the world a better place, and be a sister to every Girl Scout. Awesome, thank you. So go ahead, Kelly, you can take the screen back and it is all yours.
All right, will do. Hold tight. Okay, so before we get started, I'm going to send you guys an initial apology. One of my dogs is part Chihuahua. He's very noisy sometimes, so if you hear some barking, I'm sorry. But I love my puppies, and they're probably going to be in here with me for a little bit. So that being said, we're going to get started with our cybersecurity basics badge today. Like Ms. Ashley said, when we're done with this, you guys are going to be qualified for this badge. So that's super, super exciting. All right, so now let me manage my technology. Okay, so as far as the supply list goes, this one's really easy. All you need to have today is pencil and paper, and that's really so if you want to take some notes, or we've got a couple of activities that we're going to be doing today. But the biggest thing that I need is for you to have your good listening ears on, right? It is virtual. We know this is not as much fun as being together in a group doing some activities. So I'm going to try throughout this presentation to give you some cute little memes, because I personally love them, and I think it'll kind of help add to this for us today, okay? The other thing that I want to do, and you guys please bear with me because I'm kind of new to Zoom myself, I'd like to get a chat on, but that's not going to work. Okay, so Ashley, can you do me a favor? If you see any comments that I need, because I can't see chat and run the PowerPoint as a slideshow. So we're going to talk about cybersecurity today. And the important thing for you ladies to understand is that computers run almost everything. So think about it. Not sure if you guys know this, but your information is on a network. Your information is probably on a lot of networks. When you go to the hospital or to the doctor's office, they have your patient records that are communicating. When you go to school, your school records are all being communicated. You know, the power that comes to your house, that is being controlled by a network. Even the video games and the social media. So think about it. Those are just some examples. Cybersecurity is important because everything that we do is computerized these days, and it's important that you understand how to protect your reputation, because your reputation is going to be really, really important throughout your entire life, but also your personal safety. Okay, it's information security. It's what keeps you safe. So it makes me want to ask the question, how would you feel if I hacked into your school records and turned an A into an F? Right? Nobody would like that. And so that's why we want to make sure to be very, very safe with our cybersecurity. Okay, so one way to do that is something that's called encryption. And encryption is a way of protecting your data by, there's a lot of different methods, and we're going to talk about some, but it's a way of keeping people from getting onto your computer, onto your network. Because networks can expose our computers to things like viruses, we want to make sure that we're always really, really safe. and passwords are one form of encryption. Like my computer that I work on, I actually have a card that I have to put into my computer, and then a passcode that I have to type into it. That's called encryption. That's actually two-factor. They call it two-factor authentication, right? That is two ways to make sure that, hey, Miss Kelly, that's you going onto that computer. Okay, so encryption is going to use things like that. It kind of translates things into some kind of code and makes special access to keep your device safe. We want to make sure that you all know, especially where your text messages and your cell phones come from, that data is not encrypted. Okay? People can impersonate you when they take your information. So you want to make sure to be really, really careful. We want to keep our laptops, right? Laptop encryption is my favorite. It keeps you off the naughty list. So in terms of encryption, we're going to do a little bit of an activity together. And this is called Pigpen. It's a secret code, right? So this is all kinds of forms of encryption. So ladies, we're going to have to work together, and you tell me how's the best way to do this in terms, because I'd like to kind of hear from the girls, Ashley, on what they think the answers are. So
after they do the activity, or we can have them raise their hands and I'll unmute them.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're going to do two different types of encryption. This one's called Pigpen code. So when you look at the bottom right hand of your screen, you see those funny little shapes? Each one of those coincides with the grids here on your left that has the alphabet in it. So when you look at the first one, you see it looks kind of like an alligator with a snapping mouth, right? And it's got a little dot in it. When you look over to the alphabet, you will see that the X looks like an alligator with a dot in it. So that would be your first letter. Does that make sense? Who wants to help me decode this? Who knows what the next one is?
Let's go. We're going to go with Katie Pickard.
All right, Katie, what do you think?
Am I unmuted?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I think that the next one is
So look at the
L?
shape.
No.
Nope. Try again. Look at the shape of it and look at the letter that has the shape surrounding it that looks just like it.
M?
Ta-da! Good job. So the next one's M. Who's got the next one for me? Good job, Katie.
We'll go with Jillian.
A.
Ta-da! Nice work, Jillian.
How about Riley?
It's pronounced Juliana.
Juliana. Thank you.
The next one's R.
Okay, good job, Riley. Who's got the next one?
Shirley. Hold on, can't hear you, Shirley.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, the next one's K.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Okay, I saw someone else raise their hand, like literally raise their hand on the, not showing their video. Hold on, where is she? Keziah, is that how we say your name?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what's the next letter?
S.
Ta-da! So far we got X marks.
Okay, oh goodness, we have more. Okay. I'm going off of, like, if you can raise your hand, like, in the chat, that's awesome. So, or if your video is on, then you can physically raise your hand. So I saw Claire, so we'll go to Claire. Hi, Claire.
It's T.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll go to, oh, I'm going to really mispronounce her name. Is it Imogen?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. H. Next
Yes,
letter is
ma'am.
P.
Okay. Let's see. Let's go to Penelope.
Is it an E?
It sure is, Penelope. Good job.
Okay. Let's see. Who else?
I'm supposed to wait. You have to lower your hand.
All right. Let's go back to Juliana.
S. I don't know what it says.
What does it say?
X marks the spot.
X marks the spot. Yes, that's exactly
Awesome.
right.
Before
see,
we
that
even
was
got
one.
to that, I realized what it said.
It's like Wheel of Fortune, right? Right. So that is one example of Pigpen. So, here's the thing. So Miss Ashley's going to have these slides, right? I think are you going to have those available to the girls? So you'll have this Pigpen code. You want to go, start writing secret messages to each other. This is one way to do it. Now here is another, and we're going to decrypt this. And it's the same thing where we've got the puzzles down at the bottom, but in this time, this is something called Morse code. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of that before. My dad was in the Navy. You have, Claire? My dad was in the Navy, and this is one of the things that he did. And the cool thing with Morse code is you can do it with sound. It's dit and dash, dits and dashes. You can do it with light, or you could do it, here, you use a flashlight, you go dit or nee. Or like we're going to look at them and see if we can decrypt what this says. So it's the same thing. We're going to match the shape with the code. So who's got the first one for us?
Let's see. We'll go to Riley. Unmute. Come on. There we go. Maybe. There.
The
Now-
first one's H.
Sure is.
Okay, let's go to, let's see, Claire.
The next one's A.
Okay, let's go to Shirley.
What do you
Okay.
think, Shirley?
We can't hear you, Shirley. If we can't hear you, maybe you could type it in the chat. She says V.
Yes, ma'am. Good job.
Okay.
The next one.
We're going to go to Leah Taylor. Hold on. Go ahead,
The next
Leah.
one, E.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's go to Juliana again. Go ahead.
F.
That's right.
And then let's go to Claire.
We're not having
There you go.
It's U.
It sure is.
Okay, I see we have Monica on. Go ahead, Monica, or where did you go? I saw we had a Monica. Here we go. Or she had her hand raised. Now it's not. Let's go to, oh, there she is. No, okay. Hi, Monica.
Say hi.
Hi. Is it A?
It sure is. And one more word. There he goes.
Okay, let's go to
Amazon Postman.
Every day?
All the time. He has a dog door soon.
Have-
Who's got the next one?
I think she was saying the rest of the word.
Oh, what's the rest of the word?
Every day.
Oh, that's not it. Good guess,
Every-
though. You guessed.
All right, let's go back to Keziah.
D.
What was that, Keziah?
D.
D?
Yes.
You are correct.
Oh, I know what it is now. All right, let's go to Claire.
E. It's E.
Yep. My dad knew this by heart. He could do Morse code without looking. Come on.
That's funny. All right, how about Shirley? Or maybe you can type it again. Oh, you said V, right? Or no? That was your last chat.
It's him.
C, okay.
C. Tell the girls you're sorry for making so much noise.
Oh, gosh. Let's go back to Jillian. Anna, sorry.
And decorating.
Not decorating. But I think you had the next letter, didn't you?
Decoding.
Decoding. Have fun decoding. Yes. So think about it, you got friends maybe in a house next door and you guys have a flashlight at night. You can learn Morse code and talk to each other. All right.
Live
So
far
those-
away.
Right? Those are just two forms of encryption. There's all kinds of different ones, but that gives you an idea of what that's like. All right. So, in terms of computer safety and cybersecurity, everybody has to be responsible for themselves. We want to take responsibility first, right? We know the internet can be super fun. I know I'm on it all the time, but we want to make sure that everybody's responsible. How many of you have heard that the internet is forever? Anybody ever tell you that? You believe it? So you know that if you guys are on Snapchat, like I've got Snapchat. If I take a picture of myself or anything on Snapchat, it looks like it goes away, right? But it doesn't, for real. It's there forever and ever and ever. And we know people who are in cybersecurity who can actually find that kind of information. So we just want you to think about it. Anything that you put out on the internet, if you're not okay with maybe your parents, your grandparents, your pastor, if you don't think Santa Claus wants to see it, don't post it, okay? Because sometimes bad people are going to go in and they're going to use things like your profiles. Your profile is who you are, right? If I put Kelly Thompson as my profile, that's me. That's already giving somebody one piece of information about myself. That's my name. Okay, sometimes people do bad things with it. So here's the scary thing, is that if you're not careful about what you put on your social media, it can actually keep you from going to college. It can keep you from getting a job. And the reason why is because those entities are actually looking at your social media too. So in fact, in the news, there were a few years ago in the news, have you guys heard of Harvard University? You know, that's a really prestigious school, right? If you go to Harvard, you're set for the rest of your life. And these students had been accepted at Harvard until Harvard went out and found some memes that they'd been posting. And in the memes, there was a lot of bullying going on. And Harvard said, you know what, guys, sorry, you are not Harvard material and you can't come to our school. That's a pretty big deal. Now, me personally, I have my background checked. Teachers have their backgrounds checked, police officers, real estate agents. These days, everybody's looking at your background, and your social media footprint is part of that. And I will tell you that I have some friends that work with us at NIWIC who had their background checked when they first came on. My friend Stephanie was 25 years old when she got her job at NIWIC. And her particular background check, they went back 10 years. So how old was she then? 15, right? They did go into her high school records. They went into all that stuff just to check up on her. So even the fact that you're a kid no longer protects you from people looking at what you're doing. So long story short,
Kelly,
yes.
even here at Girl Scouts, we all have to get a background check as well. So
Yep. So you see, it's everywhere. So it's really, really important that you do the right thing. Hey, being in Girl Scouts, you're already taking a great step forward because, you know, it's a wonderful program, and it's teaching you how to be wonderful young ladies. So here are my memes, because some of them I think are funny, and some of them I just think are really, really cute, right? All right, so that's your responsibility. You all gonna be responsible? Yay, good, okay. So we are gonna talk about your first line of defense with cybersecurity, and that is creating a password. You've probably had to do it, right? Are any of you on social media right now? I mean, you're on Zoom today, but Snapchat, Instagram, Twitch, any of that stuff, right? TikTok. The first thing that you need to do is make sure you have a really safe password. And it's getting harder and harder to do that, because every time you turn around, you're being told you need to make it harder and harder and add things and do stuff. So we're going to go through an activity in a minute that's going to help you with how to create a password that may be easier for you to remember, but still a little complicated. So for good passwords, you never want to use a word that you can find in the dictionary, okay? You never want to use something that's personal to you, because somebody who knows you might be able to figure that out. You never want to mirror your username. So in case you don't know what mirroring means, if my username is Kelly Thompson, if I mirrored it, my password would be Kelly Thompson. So it's the same. So you don't ever want to do that. And you're not supposed to write them down or share them. That's bad news. And I know that's getting harder and harder to do. So, but here's what we do recommend, and that's mixing upper and lowercase letters. We want you to use numbers. We want you to use special characters, at least 12 to 15 of them. Oh my God, seems like a lot, right? And if you have a hard time remembering passwords, something that you can do is something that's called a password vault. And what that does is you have one password that gets you into this vault, which is their programs online, but you gotta be careful about the program you get, but that lets you use that one password to get into your vault to access your other passwords. So you guys
we have
ready
a
to make?
question from
Yes.
Juliana. So hold
Okay,
on one
Juliana,
second.
what's up?
Can't you like share them with your parents in case you need to like get into something while you're not there?
So the rule of thumb is you never share your passwords, but I would be okay sharing with my parents. So, I mean, sometimes you have to, now there is a difference, I'm gonna tell you. I will never share, I have passwords at work, right? I do not share that with anybody. My Gmail account that I have for personal reasons, and that's a different story. You know, if I felt that was important for my parents to have access to that, absolutely right. So some of it is our last slide where we talked about having responsibilities, knowing who or which accounts you can give your parents access to. Okay, make sense?
Great question. Thank you, Juliana.
Yes, it is. All right, so you guys ready to make your own passwords? And here's the oh, wait a minute, because I thought this meme was just so cute, right? A lot of people like to use their dogs. I know, isn't he adorable? He, she. All right, a lot of people like the idea of using their dogs for their passwords. So, okay, so to make a secure password, you got to remember that what's going on is that bad guys are sometimes collecting things like your usernames and your passwords, and they're building these huge databases that they can then use to compromise you. And they may use it to go on websites or games or social media, or they may sell it to somebody else. And sometimes it's a matter of them trying to steal your identity, which we don't want, right? Predators actually really like to go steal the identity of students because you haven't gotten to a place where you've created credit yet. So you have your accounts are clean. So we want to make sure that you use your passwords just to keep all of your information safe. Okay? So I'm going to show you some examples of how to make a super strong password. And if you can't tell, I love dogs, right? And so what I am doing here is I'm going to do something, I'm going to help you build a password. And so the first thing I've got two different examples of base passwords. So if I use the sentence that I can remember, that I love dogs the most in the world, and then I take each of the first letters from that sentence, you see what I've done there in the abbreviation? That's I love dogs most in the world. If I want to make it even stronger, I took this next one that was I love dogs, and I swapped out. You see, I've got some big letters, I've got some little letters. I swapped out all my O's for zeros. So now I have I in uppercase L, a 0, lowercase VE, uppercase D, a 0, a G, an S, and an exclamation point. So that has made it stronger. And how many letters do I have there? 10, right? What did we say? 12 is probably 12 to 15 that we're looking at. So this is our base password. We're going to build on this. So this is my base one that I can remember forever. And by the way, this is not my password for anything, just so you know. Okay. So, but I'm going to build on it. Everybody's got sites that they go to, like Facebook, Google, Pinterest, all kinds of stuff, right? Amazon, you were to go shop for things. Or so what I like the idea of is creating a 2-letter abbreviation for those pages. And it doesn't have to be like Facebook, FB. You could do FK for the first and the last letter. It's something that you remember, right? And so these are just examples that I put together that for, Google, GG sounded to me like Google, Pinterest. So if I take those and I add them to my base, and you see I did, there's a couple different ways that I could do it. The first example, I put that FB in the back. The second example, I put it in the front, or I did an underscore FB. So I would like each of you just to take a couple minutes and think of a sentence, create a unique character set. If it's something you want to share with us, that's great. If it's something you think you want to use in the future and you don't want anybody to know about it, that's okay too. Just take a couple minutes and try it out.
So while you guys are thinking of that, we do have a question from the audience. It says,
Okay.
from Sarah Grant. She says, what if I don't remember my password? Why can't we write down our passwords? And basically, she's just worried about if she forgets her passwords.
Sarah, I'm totally with you. Absolutely with you. And that's why we're trying to do something like this, so we can, something that you can always remember. The good news with passwords is that you can always reset them. So if you forget it, you can reset it. That's good. The reason you don't write passwords down is because you ever seen on TV where that person goes in the office and finds the person's password on a sticky note? That's all. It just isn't as secure. So, I mean, nobody knows the password to get into my computer, but I use it every day. Now, I don't go on Pinterest every day, so if I needed to log into there, I might need some help.
Okay, looks like we have some girls that are done with their passwords. Does anyone want to share them? Okay, looks like Katie Pickard does. Go ahead, Katie.
So mine is like, I don't do Roblox anymore because my mom told me that I'm not allowed to do it anymore because it's like online, so she said it's not safe. But so I did I love cats the most in the world, and then I did RBLX for like Roblox. And I used to have a password for Roblox, but now I know that it wasn't kind of safe because I used my best friend's name in it. So now I know that that wasn't very safe.
But you've learned something, right?
Yeah.
Good, good, good. Great job. All right, anybody else want to share theirs? Or you want to keep it for yourself so you can use it later? That's okay too.
So I actually have learned from this as well. When Kelly and I went over this last week, and the meme that says, you know, that you have to change my dog's name. Well, I have 2 cats and I use their names for all of my passwords. So I have since gone and changed all of my passwords because my cat's names were there. Yeah, so I did learn that. And I'm 28, so I'm still learning too. So Juliana, I saw you had your hand raised. Juliana, did you want to share your password?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Well, I took some letters that are easy to remember, capitalized them, and made them lowercase. So it's like TKACNJ #GG question mark.
Okay.
Oh.
And you can remember those? Which as a base password, I mean, ladies, that totally works. And that is so random that if you use that as a base password, nobody's ever going to figure that one out. It's a good job.
Like, use some letters that nobody ever thinks to put in those places. It makes no sense.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can remember it, good for you. That's awesome. You got a great memory too. That's fantastic. All right, we want to move on to the next thing?
Sure, let's
do
go
it.
for it.
Okay. So, oh, wait, got to do my memes first, right? Isn't he cute? There you go, Ashley. That one's for you.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So, pop quiz. You guys ready to answer some questions for me? Question number 1. Is it safe to trust somebody you don't know online? No, I see some head shaking. Absolutely not. Now, that doesn't mean everybody's bad online, but it's always better just to be on the safe side. Does spending time talking to somebody you've never met online help to make them somebody that you know? Nope, absolutely not. Can I tell you that I'm an 8-year-old boy? I could, right? Should you give a stranger you met on the street your address? We all know that. It's the same for people that you meet online. Is there any difference between somebody that you meet on the internet and somebody you meet on the street? Might even be scarier, the people on the internet, because you don't know them. All right, so you've been talking to a 13-year-old girl from another state online and you've never met that person. How do you really know that person is 13 and is a girl? You don't, right? So that's the thing we want to make sure you're really, really careful about. What are you going to do if the person in the last scenario asks to meet you in person? 1, you're not going to go meet them. Number 2, make sure you tell a trusted adult. Okay? Very important. Because while most people are nice, and some of it's probably really, really innocent, there are going to be people that are looking to get your information or they want to meet you for bad reasons. All right, so let's talk about social engineering. Okay, and this is another reason you got to be really, really careful with your cybersecurity, because social engineering is when somebody tries to trick you into giving them some of your information. And here's just some examples, right? We've got our social security number, your address, if you have a bank account or a credit card, maybe where you are. So we're actually going to look at these memes together. Protect you from social engineering attacks? Sure, just email me your password. We already discussed it, right? Never give somebody your password, with the occasional to your parents if it's the right situation. I just received something that says I have a virus. I'll just click this ad. If you get an ad that tells you have a virus, that's probably somebody trying to give you a virus. So never click those ads. Or anybody ever seen those ads that tell you if you click here you can win something like an iPad? They are also trying to get some information from you. Nobody's going to give you an iPad for clicking a link. Okay? All right, so we're going to do some scenarios. What would you do? Hey, Ashley, maybe this is a good chance to have the girls raise their hand too.
Yes, of course.
Get an email from the King of Prussia asking you to help him, and in return, he's going to give you $10,000. What would you do?
Hold on 1 second. Let's go to Shirley. Go ahead, Shirley. Oh, I forgot we can't talk with Shirley. I don't understand why. Do you want to type your answer, Shirley?
Okay.
Oh, wait, now we can hear you.
I can hear Shirley.
Yeah, I got headphones, so.
Okay, go ahead, Shirley.
I would say no because the King of Prussia would probably not email like a 12-year-old girl.
That's right. And
Like
you're
for
right.
example, get your
And I would tell you that is an actual social engineering thing that's been going on for years and years and years. I have actually received this email myself.
I have too.
Yeah, just ignore it and delete it. Ignore and delete. All right, next question. You get an email from your bank telling you about a security problem and a link to click to go to the information. What do you do? That's a tough one.
We'll go to Monica. Let's see.
What do you think, Monica?
You don't click on the link because they'll never call.
They'll never.
They'll never send an email. They will call you.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I'm paranoid enough that if my bank calls me, I'll tell them, I'll call you right back, and I will go get a phone number that I know goes to my bank. You're right, nobody's ever going to send you an email. Anybody calling or emailing. I mean, have you ever had Microsoft call your house before? Or somebody claiming to be Microsoft? Oh, I have. We need to tell you this, you know, our system is showing us that your computer has got a problem. There's no problem. Microsoft has no idea. People try to get your information all the time, whether it's online or over the phone. And honestly, just so you know, even if they try to do it over a phone, that is also cybersecurity because they're trying to get information from you so that they can get your personal information, which is usually for identity theft. And you guys know what that is, right? You know, identity theft is when somebody gets enough of your information that they can pretend to be you, and maybe they open up bank accounts or buy houses or cars or things like that. And it can ruin your credit, which you're going to need. Credit is very important when you're ready to buy a car or a house. All right, next scenario. A stranger asks to follow or friend you on your social media. What do you do?
Let's go to Katie.
So what do you do, Katie?
You tell them no because you don't know them, and it's not safe to befriend a stranger if you don't know them.
That's right. If you ever have, or if it's something like, okay, I hear, is it true that Facebook's for old people? I'm on Facebook. So for me, I'll get a friend request on Facebook and I can either confirm it or delete it. I never confirm it if I don't know who it is because I never know why they're asking to follow me on social media. So you're absolutely right. And, you know, you may want to tell somebody about it. Maybe tell a trusted adult. Especially if it feels creepy to you, tell somebody. Okay. All right, you get a message from Minecraft asking you for your parents' credit card information. What do you do? Jilliana, I love it. Jilliana, if you all didn't see her, she was doing this number for me. And she is absolutely right. One, your parents may be very mad at you if you give somebody their credit card information. Never, never, never put that kind of stuff out there for that. What if a stranger sends you an email or a message?
Let's go to Keziah.
What do you think, Keziah?
You ignore it and delete it.
Yep, ignore it and delete it. And if it's especially creepy, you tell an adult. Jilliana, you have something to add?
I will block them. But let me just say something. Be careful what you block because I blocked a site that I was using for schoolwork. It's completely safe, but now I can't get the emails I need. It's gone forever. And I need to do something about how to unblock it. I don't know.
Nice. I see we have some other questions, Katie. So just so you ladies know, I can see Katie right now and I see Jilliana, and then as Miss Ashley is moving others. So I know that Katie's raised her hand. If anybody else is, I can't really see it. But Katie, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah. So I have Kids Messenger, and somebody sent me something on Kids Messenger wanting to be my friend, and it was like a profile of a little boy, but my mom was like, okay, I'm going to block them. And I'm like, okay. Then she blocked him so that he couldn't send me messages anymore, because, like, even though he says he's a kid, he might not be a kid. He might be a 40-year-old
That's
man
right.
wanting to sexually
Exactly.
assault you or something, like,
Your
if
mom,
they ever
your
meet
mom,
you.
yep, your mom is a very smart lady. And you got to keep yourselves and your family safe. Yep. Anybody else, Ashley? I see Jillian got her hand up as well, but
Why don't we move on to is there another scenario?
we got one more scenario. Let's look at it. A pop-up tells you you have a virus and asks you to click a link to resolve the issue. I see Jillian is doing this again.
Yeah.
Oh, like this.
Let's go to Leah.
What do you think, Leah? What are you going to do?
Sorry. I would just not read it and delete it.
Absolutely right. Don't click it and delete it. Absolutely. Okay. Next. So we are almost done, ladies. You have almost earned your badge. I just have some important safety tips that I want to go through real quick. Obviously, we already talked about, don't forget that the internet's forever. That if you have control of your computer, using antivirus is a good thing because that helps protect your computer. And you gotta make sure you do your updates. Never sharing your private information online. Never sharing your passwords, with those small exceptions we talked about with our parents. You guys have web cameras, like I do. You can see me, right? If you're not using your computer, you may want to think about covering your web cameras, and you can use tape, or there are no covers now that go like this, so now you can't see me. In fact, I have one on my work computer. All right, you never click on links, and that includes in video games. If you don't know where they go, you don't click on them. And you tell your parent or a trusted adult anytime something online makes you uncomfortable or seems weird. Let them know your favorite websites, your apps, who your friends are. And we did talk about letting them follow you in those certain areas. I see a hand raised.
Claire have a question?
I'm sorry, Ashley, go ahead.
Oh, okay, no, Claire didn't have a question, but Juliana has a question.
Well, I was gonna say something about the webcams and how to cover them.
Okay.
I have my webcam on my mom's actual computer camera, so I would just if you have that, it was just unplug it. It was it's not connected to your computer anymore. You're covering your actual camera, so.
That's one way to do it. My husband's old Xbox, I would take it and I would turn it so that it was facing a wall. So it's just safety things, especially if it's in a place where you are all the time. You just, you want to keep safe. So those are some things to do. So one last thing I want to tell you ladies about is that we have a couple of virtual summer camps that are coming up. So the first one, we don't have the dates yet because this, I see some eyes going, yay. So COVID-19 really kind of surprised us all, and these camps are something that we normally do in person, but we're going to be doing them virtually this year. And I will tell you, we are already working on some really cool stuff. So if you are on Facebook, your parents are on Facebook, that's where we're advertising these. I can tell you right now, if you go to Palmetto Cybersecurity Summer Camp, there's a competition going on right now. And we're going to be doing some activities. We're posting some cool videos. And then we're also working on this Girls' Day Out camp, which is Rising 8th and 9th grade girls. And what's really cool, so both of these are STEM-related camps. The cybersecurity camp is a lot of NIWIC individuals. So you're going to do things like robotics, web development, how to make videos, online videos. Gosh, we have lots of different cool things. And every time I start to talk about it, I forget them. I'm like waiting for Tanya to text me and remind me some of it. We got ham radios, how to build rockets. I think we're going to do something with Minecraft. Lots of cool things. And Girls' Day Out, while we're working on the curriculum, we have a lot of partners that work on that with us, like Bosch and Nucor, the Naval Health Clinic. So no matter where your STEM interests may be, you may learn something, and we're trying to make sure all of these are going to be fun and interactive, and there'll be prizes and competitions and things like that too. All right, so go out there and look for that stuff. And last but not least,
We'll send this out in our email as well later on this afternoon, all the links to that.
Yeah. And so now's the time, if you ladies have any questions, we can go ahead and answer those, and we'll just ask Miss Ashley to field those. Anybody got any questions?
Not seeing any hands raised. Penelope does. Go ahead, Penelope.
Well, I remember this one time, someone had called us and no one picked up and we didn't know, but there's this certain profile that keeps calling us and we don't know who it is.
That happens a lot, unfortunately, and that's, as a general rule, that's actually people trying to sell you something. So they're probably not, the good news is they're probably not trying to steal your data, but they do want to sell you something. Kind of annoying.
Your name though.
Yeah, I've seen that, like anonymous. Yeah.
Well, it's
My husband tells me that if you give it a second and you say hello and nobody says anything, it's a computer, so hang up.
Exactly.
And it's
Leah has a question. Hold on.
Yes.
Go ahead, Leah.
So, what if someone like gets your email and then they email you with blackmail?
Ooh, I would immediately go tell a parent or a trusted adult, and encourage them to go speak to the authorities about that. Blackmail is never a good thing. You shouldn't do it to anybody, and you shouldn't allow them to do it to you. And I know with bullying, that can be a really sensitive subject, but you just have to remember, no matter what anybody says about you, you're amazing.
I have one more question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
There was this thing going around at my school, and it was from this website of where you sign something, and then if you get enough people to sign it, it happens.
A petition.
Yeah, a petition. And so there was one going around at my school, and everyone was signing it, including a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
But then it turned out to be someone who was stealing information.
Ah.
And how do you tell if it's fake?
Sometimes you can't. That's the scary thing. Sometimes you really can't. So I would hesitate to do anything that requires you to put any information about yourself. If they ask for your email, your phone number, your address, anything like that, I would hesitate to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
We have some people that are in the chat, and they're saying what they're going or what they want to be when they grow up. So Katie Pickard, who is, you can see her video. She says she wants to be an Air Force pilot.
Ooh, nice.
And then we have Sarah Grant. She says, I want to be a child voice actress before my child years are over, and I'm 11. That's a really cool idea.
I just learned Peppa Pig's getting a new voice actress.
Oh.
I know. My husband loves Peppa Pig.
Keziah, who has been on the phone or has been just talking with us, says she wants to be a robotic engineer.
Oh, then you need to go check out our Facebook competition right now. So for Cyber Camp, because this week's about robotics. And in fact, I'm going to be posting, I know this may sound really boring, but I promise you, I'm looking at most of these videos. Well, I'm looking at all of them. But I'm going to be posting a video on Friday from this gentleman. And if you like robotics, he was actually really interesting to listen to. And he's going to have a lot of cool video of robotics to look at. So check that out, okay? And by the way, we do robotics at NIWIC. Might be a place for you to work.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who want to be actresses on here, and I think Penelope wants to do something super cool. Penelope's on here and says Penelope wants to be a commander at NASA.
Ooh, wow. Awesome. I don't know if you know this, the College of Charleston has a National Space Consortium there. So that may be a
Yes, and
place for you to look at.
And they have finally opened their not, is it an yeah, I can't talk. An observatory that's up at the top of the building now? What is that? Do you know?
Yeah, I know. And I'm not a
An
yeah.
astronomer. Yeah.
Yeah. But I see,
Uh,
right, I see Storm Chaser.
yeah. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. So
And I
Leah
see,
has her hand raised again. So we'll unmute her and then that will be our last question, okay?
okay.
Let's see. Why are we not? Where'd she go? Oh, Leah.
I'm looking at all these STEM careers while you're doing that are popping up here too.
Awesome. Okay, well, I'm not seeing Leah on here anymore. She might have raised her hand and put
Okay.
it down or something.
So I have to throw out here, Shirley said she wanted to do something with science, mathematics, or band. You know that it could include both.
Yeah, definitely. You can be a,
this is a really old guy, but I don't know if you've heard the music, I know you've heard it, but there's a band called Boston, and my husband and I went to see him, and this old guy comes out on stage and he's wearing this t-shirt that says MIT, and me, I like to look stuff up. And so I looked at it, and he actually created the band, but he started by going and getting his engineering degree, and he used it to develop instruments for band that he was able to sell too. So he was able to take both of those and mesh them together. So I love it. I love all the stuff of the veterinarians, astronauts. You girls are amazing. You're going to do amazing things. And I appreciate the time you gave
engineer too.
Yeah. Come work for us. We do engineering, all kinds of engineering.
So, all right. Well, thank you all so much for joining. This was a lot of fun. Like I said, we will send out an email of the recording of this session, the slideshow, and we'll send out some links as well for the cyber and robotic camps and stuff like that coming up. So thank you so much for joining, and you all have completed every step today for the cybersecurity basics badge.
Congratulations!
Again,
all right, sounds good. All
Bye,
right, ladies.
everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Okay. Oh, now I can see their lovely faces.
I know.
Bye, Katie.
I'm waiting for them all to leave.
I see Katie looking for the button. She looks like she got frozen there.
Yeah. I'm also just removing them. I think Tanya's still on. Tanya Hammond.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's on.
Danielle is still on, but Kelly and Tanya. Okay. So what'd you think?
I thought it went okay.
Okay.
I mean, they looked like at least the girls I could see looked like they were participating.
I'm going to stop the recording.
There was a lot of people who were not showing their cameras. There was like